It started on the moon of Yavak. A major Zarn military base was located there, deep bunkers, heavy guns, and over 12,000 troops. It was said to be untouchable. That night, no alarms went off, no enemy ship was seen, and yet, something fell from the sky. A small black object, a pod, barely the size of a coffin. It hit the ground hard without warning. The soldiers rushed to check it. They had no idea what it was. The scanners showed nothing inside. Then the pod opened. A single human stepped out, tall, silent, armored in dark gray. No helmet. His eyes glowed, blue. His movements were slow, calm. The base commander shouted through the speakers, "You are trespassing on Zarn territory. Surrender now." The human didn't speak. He looked around. Then, without any sound, moved. Fast, too fast. Within seconds, 2 guards were down. No gunfire, no explosion, just quiet, clean takedowns. One by one, lights across the base went out. Troops tried to respond, but communications failed. They couldn't see him. Only hear the footsteps, the whispers, the chaos. Explosions rocked the command tower. Turrets exploded from the inside. Drones turned against their masters. The human didn't carry a gun. He used their own weapons. He used them. By morning, the base was silent. A rescue team was sent from the nearest planet. When they landed, everything looked untouched. No battle damage, no fires, no destroyed buildings. But not a single soul was left. 12,000 soldiers gone. In the middle of the base, on a wall written in deep scorch marks, Drop 1, Success. Zarn High Command panicked. "How can one man do this?" they cried. Their scientists searched for answers. The data showed the human soldier wasn't a regular fighter. His body had implants. His muscles were reinforced. His reflexes weren't natural. One word kept appearing in their files: Ghost-class operative. Only myths before now. Whispers, rumors. But now, one was real, and they didn't know how many more were coming. That night, across 10 more moons, more black pods fell from the sky. Each one carried just one soldier. Just one. That's all it took. And as the Zarn Empire watched their strongest bases vanish, they finally understood. The real army wasn't coming in ships. The real army was already here, falling one man at a time. The Zarn generals met in secret, deep underground, behind 6 levels of security, guarded by machines and soldiers. But still, they were afraid. One general slammed the table. 10 elite bases lost, no survivors. No warnings, just 1 human per base. 1! How is this possible? Another general whispered. They're not normal soldiers. They're not even armies. They're ghosts. The room went silent, because now everyone had heard the new name. Ghost class, operatives. They didn't come in ships. They dropped from the sky like shadows. No engines, no heat trails. They weren't tracked on scanners. They didn't speak. They didn't demand surrender. They just appeared. And then, silence. Across the empire, fear turned into chaos. Colonies begged for help. Citizens fled. Soldiers refused to fight. Even top commanders requested transfers away from human zones. Because every time one of those black pods landed, no one survived. Then came the worst news yet. A deep space mining ship near the Zarn core planet sent a distress signal. The crew had found something buried in an asteroid. It was a human device, buried years ago, before the war even started. It was old, quiet, still active. And inside it was a recorded message. The message said, "You are not prepared for the war you started. We have studied you for decades. We know your planets, your people, your leaders. You've seen our ghosts. But we are not ghosts. We are the storm that follows them. Back at Zarn Command, a new alert rang out. A fleet, a real human fleet, was finally spotted. Thousands of ships, huge, silent, moving fast, and they weren't headed to the border. They were flying straight for the Zarn homeworld. The generals stared at the screen. One of them whispered, "The ghosts were just the beginning." Outside, the skies turned black. The storm was coming. Zethros Prime, the capital of the Zarn Empire, had never seen war reach its skies. For 1,000 years, no enemy ship had ever come close. Until now. The human fleet appeared without warning. No jump signatures. No sound. No light. One moment the sky was clear, then it was filled with dark shapes. Thousands of human warships. Massive, black, silent. No names, no markings, just rows and rows of death. Panic hit instantly. Defense systems turned on. Fighters launched. Cannons charged. The Zarn leader, Emperor Valor, watched from the palace tower. His claws trembled. "Send everything," he ordered. "We must stop them here." But deep down, he already knew. It was too late. The human ships didn't fire first. They waited, and then, like falling rain, pods began to drop again. Millions of them. Not just Ghost class. Soldiers this time. Heavy infantry, exosuits, combat mechs. And behind them, walking giants. Machines shaped like men, 30 meters tall, armed with railguns and plasma blades. Each step shook the city, and then the sky itself lit up. The first human ship fired. One beam, bright, white, and focused, cut through an entire Zarn fleet in seconds. No sound, no explosion, just pure destruction. The Zarn air defenses couldn't keep up. Their fastest fighters were vaporized before they could turn. Down on the ground, the Zarn soldiers fought bravely. They used every weapon, every drone, every shield, but the humans didn't break formation. They didn't retreat. They didn't even slow down. The ghosts had shown them fear. Now the storm showed them what human rage looked like. Every building turned into a battlefield. Every street became a grave. And the worst part? The humans didn't speak. No orders shouted. No messages sent. Just pure, cold, perfect coordination. Like a machine. Like a punishment. By the end of the day, 1/3 of the Zarn capital was burning. Entire legions gone. High command was silent. Only one message remained. Left on every screen, the humans. Past, this is not revenge. This is response. The Zarn Empire was collapsing. Cities burned. Signals went silent. Commanders stopped responding. And still, the humans kept moving. No mercy. No pause. The human army had taken over half the capital world by dawn. Hospitals, bunkers, even shielded fortresses, nothing stopped them. But something strange happened. On the second day, the human army stopped attacking. No more pods dropped. No more ships fired. They just stood still. At every battle zone, human soldiers formed a line. They aimed, but didn't shoot. Then, from the sky, a single ship descended, smaller than the others, sleek, silent. It landed in the ruins of the old Zarn Council Hall. From it stepped a human, not armored, not carrying weapons, just one man. He walked, past destroyed tanks, dead streets, alien corpses. He walked until he stood before the last living Zarn leader, Emperor Valor, shaking, surrounded by broken guards. The man spoke slowly. "You made your choice. You ignored peace. You laughed. When we sent our smallest team, you killed them. And now—" He looked around at the burning world. "This is your lesson." The Emperor fell to his knees. "Mercy," he whispered. The human nodded. "We're not monsters, but we are human." Then he reached into his coat and handed the Emperor a data crystal. Inside, instructions. A new treaty. One condition. Zarn. Surrender. Forever. The message ended with one final warning. You were never stronger. You were only first. You crushed our scouts, but you never saw our army. Now you have. Let this be the last time. The human turned and walked back to his ship. As he left, all human soldiers across the Empire received one silent command. Stand down. Just like that, they vanished. Into the sky, into black ships, into silence. No cheers, no songs, no glory, just quiet and fear. Because every Zarn survivor now knew the humans let them live, and if they ever forgot that, the real army wouldn't need to arrive again. The alien commander stood on the high ridge, looking down at the battlefield. His silver armor gleamed under the twin suns. Behind him, thousands of soldiers stood ready. Tanks floated above the ground, and battle drones hovered like flies in the air. It was a perfect army, the strongest force from the Zarn Empire, and yet they were laughing. In the crater below, only a small human unit waited. 20 soldiers, no tanks, no air support, just men and women in simple combat suits with old rifles. The alien officers could not believe what they saw. "This is the mighty human army?" one of them said with a grin. "They sent 20 people? Are they joking?" The commander didn't reply. He just smiled and gave the order to attack. Lasers lit the sky. Missiles flew. The ground shook. The humans didn't move. They didn't run. They didn't hide. They waited until the last moment, and then they moved. Faster than expected, smarter than predicted, the small unit split into teams. They used the shadows, the rocks, and the smoke. They didn't fire wildly. Each shot counted. Every bullet hit a weak point. In just minutes, they destroyed 2 tanks and several drones. The alien soldiers were surprised, but not worried. It was just a small trick. They had the numbers. They had the power. And finally, after heavy fire, the humans were down. One by one, the 20 humans fell. Explosions covered the crater. When the smoke cleared, nothing moved. The Zarn commander raised his hand. "Victory," he said. The army cheered. Loud horns echoed across the battlefield. Messages were sent to the Empire. The news spread fast. Humans are weak. They were no match for our strength. In the capital, celebrations began. Banners waved. Drinks poured. Alien children danced in the streets. The war, they said, was already won. But not everyone was cheering. Far away, in a deep control room under the alien capital, 2 technicians stared at a screen. A strange signal had appeared. It was weak, almost like a ghost. It blinked, then vanished. A second later, it came back. One of the technicians frowned. "It's coming from the battlefield," he said. "But that place is silent. Everyone is dead." The other technician looked closer. The signal repeated 3 words again and again. Phase 1 complete. The words made no sense. The Zarn Empire had won. The humans were destroyed. What phase? What plan? They called the commander. He returned to the crater. The bodies of the human soldiers were still there, burned, broken, and still. But when they scanned the area, something felt wrong. The suits were empty. There was no blood, no DNA, just suits. The commander stepped back. "They weren't real?" he whispered. "Then where are the real soldiers?" Behind him, the wind howled. The sun dipped low. The shadows grew longer. One of the alien officers tapped his shoulder and said, "Sir, we found this near the crater." It was a piece of metal. Small, flat, black. On it, just one sentence. "Thank you for the test." That night, the Zarn Empire stopped their celebrations. All screens went dark. The people waited. They wanted answers. But no one had any. Back in the command center, the commander sat alone, watching the message play again and again. Phase 1 complete. He didn't sleep. He didn't eat. He just stared at the screen, because now he understood something terrible. The humans had sent 20 fake soldiers, just a test, a distraction, a trap, and the real war hadn't even started yet. The alien homeworld was silent. News had spread fast. Humans lost. Their tiny unit was crushed. The Empire celebrated. Cities lit up. Music played. But far away in cold, dark space, something strange began. On the edge of the Zarn Empire, a small listening station floated in orbit above a dead planet. It was quiet there. Boring. No action. Just two soldiers doing night shifts, half asleep. Suddenly the radio buzzed. A soft whisper broke the silence. "We're coming." The soldier blinked. "Did you hear that?" "No," the second one said. "You're just tired." The whisper came again, louder. "We're coming. Prepare yourselves." They froze. There was no sender ID, no origin point, just a voice in the dark. They called command. More stations were contacted. Everyone checked. All of them heard it. The same human voice, calm and cold. "We're coming. Prepare yourselves." The Zarn military brushed it off. A trick, they said. A human joke. Just fear tactics. But the signal didn't stop. It grew stronger, louder, and stranger. Because no one could trace it. Not from a ship. Not from a satellite. It was coming from nowhere. And everywhere. One day later, every Zarn base near the human border received the message. Ships patrolling the edges of the galaxy heard it too. It repeated every hour, exactly, on the minute. The aliens tried to block it, jam it, scramble it. Nothing worked. Some began to panic. Others started to leave their posts. Then one of the messages changed. It said, "Phase 2 begins now." Then silence. No more signal. No warning. Just nothing. On planet Voltarn, one of the main bases near the human front, the lights went out. Power systems failed. Generators exploded. Cameras went dark. Within minutes, the base vanished from the network. A rescue team was sent. When they arrived, they found the building still standing, but everyone inside was gone. No bodies. No weapons. No signs of battle. Just one thing on the main screen inside the command room. "We were never gone. You were never ready." The Zarn High Command called emergency meetings. Panic spread across the Empire. Leaders argued. Some still thought it was a bluff, but deep down, the smartest ones knew the truth. The tiny human unit they defeated, it wasn't the army, it was just the message. The real army was on its way. And now, the Zarn Empire had no idea where they were, or how many. The Zarn capital, Zethros Prime, was quiet. Too quiet. People stopped celebrating. Military patrols doubled, and yet, fear still grew. Because of the signal. That terrible voice still echoed in their heads. "We're coming." Now it was 3 days later, and the sky changed. At first, it was small, just a few glowing dots far, above the city. Some said it was dust, others said maybe stars. But then the stars began to move. One by one, the dots shifted, not falling, not rising, just floating, slowly, silently. The alien Air Force launched drones. Fighters rushed up, but every ship that got close to the lights vanished from radar. No explosions. No wreckage, just gone. Command ordered full scans, but the scanners picked up nothing. No heat, no mass, no signals. It was like the things in the sky weren't real. The capital trembled. Civilians were told to stay inside. Military. Guards were posted everywhere. Every eye watched the sky. Then, something dropped. A thin black object fell from the clouds. It landed in the center of the city. No sound, no force, just a quiet thud. Soldiers surrounded it. It was a black spike, 2 meters tall, smooth and cold. Words appeared on it in glowing, human script. This is not an invasion. This is your warning. Within minutes, more spikes fell in other cities. Every major planet, every military station, all with the same message. The Zarn High Council screamed in panic. Why don't we see their ships? Where are they? No one could answer. And then came the most terrifying moment. A security officer replayed satellite footage, slowed it down, zoomed in. The stars that moved in the sky weren't ships. They were human soldiers, in black armor, floating, watching, waiting. No engines, no movement, no sound, just standing in the air, far above the cities, completely still, as if studying their targets. One general spoke into the emergency mic, voice shaking. "This is General Varkaz. If any human force hears this, we request peaceful talks. Please respond." Silence. Then, across all screens, all speakers, a new voice, deep, calm, human. "You've already spoken. You attacked us first. You chose war. We're just here to finish it." And then the sky went dark. All power failed. All screens turned black. All cities lost contact. Across the empire, people looked up and saw only shadows. The real army hadn't landed yet, but it was already here.